Okay guys, I'm gonna try to make you a curly bang trim video without giving myself bangs. So some of my curly girls, you guys have bangs that are like right here, and then I've got a few of you that sort of just have like gentle curly stuff around the face that falls out when you put a ponytail up. So we'll start with just sort of both of them, but I'll section for if you had stuff falling around your face, mainly on the sides. So you can just sort of, I think that it's a really good idea to get your hair out of the way that isn't going to be cut, so you don't accidentally cut hair that you want to have. If you already have these bangs cut in, then this will be really easy. Basically, like you make a ponytail and whatever falls out of your ponytail is your bangs. When you're doing your sectioning, just make sure, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure that it's not really random. There's not something like a big chunk, crazy line, you know, like you've got a piece that's coming from somewhere else. This looks pretty fine. Normally there can be like a weird little step like that right on your part line. Sometimes it's a good idea to not cut this piece and sort of smooth that out. If you know that you like a thicker, heavier bang on that side, then you can leave it. Like I said, if you already have the bangs established, it should be pretty easy to tell what's bang and what's not. So get it out of the way. And then this is day 4 hair for me. So like the front of my hair has really lost a lot of its curl. And if this is day 4 or 5 for you, I suggest getting your hair a little wet first. So you can put your hands in the sink, or if you have a spray bottle your hair. Get it a little damp here. Okay, and then once you've got your hair, maybe even a little bit more damp, really damp like at the root, because we're gonna try to get it to sort of recurl and clump. And so if you feel that it's still repelling water like a sheepdog, then just keep spraying in there until you've got it good and wet. And then most of you, if I've given you bang trims, you all have seen me do this to you before, so you know. So then basically what I want to do is just sort of finger twist and clump everybody back together and get them to be curly. This side hair on me is really not very curly. That's okay. So you're just sort of doing that little twisting out motion with what seems to be the natural chunking of your hair, directing your bangs maybe a little bit more into your face than they normally would be, so you can get an idea of where it's landing in your eyes. Okay, so now you've got your little bang turds, and you can give them maybe a little bit of a scrunch, get them curling. That side hair on me was really not curling, so give it a little bit of extra encouragement, but my front hair's doing fine. All right, so now everybody's just a lot more organized and in their little clumps. And so I'm gonna sort of look at where you want your bangs. If you've got sort of that gentle facial framing, you might be right in this line. And like here, my nose is really pushing that away, so that's helpful. You know, I might like that. If you're wearing glasses, I often like people to have their glasses on so you can see like where the glasses rims push on the bangs, because you see how like much more out that is if my glasses are right there. And you might want to cut like on this side of that frame so that they don't fall back in your eyes if your glasses are sort of using them to hold your hair back. So basically, this is good to do in a mirror. Just look and see where you want it, and you're gonna cut preferably at the end of a curl, or just so that it's not like, I would cut this one here versus here, because I wouldn't want it to just be poking right back into my face. So sort of maybe on the curl out. Right here would be a good spot, right here. And so you can see I'm holding my scissors at an angle. You definitely are gonna wanna cut your bang chunks at an angle. Please don't cut them like this. Go in here. And so you can see these two are sort of separate. You might like to cut this one, maybe this one goes here and this one gets cut here. And then I normally, with curly hair, it's like stairs. So it's pretty big, you know, it can be here and then it's like a 1/4 of an inch and it's here, or it's an inch. And then this one to here, maybe these two are the same, but then you're gonna drop pretty fast. Because if you did like this one, and this one all at the same length, you'll have such a heavy weight line chunk that won't be cool, and you'll wind up cutting the front up higher to get it away. I'm pointing really long right now. You definitely could be cutting your bangs way up here. This is just, my curl pattern's so loose that this is where I felt like I was having a good visual point to show you. Again, like these pieces might be way up here. I really don't suggest cutting these pieces here like quite that short. They might be really strange. Most of those, it's gonna be better if it's just a little bit longer than your jaw. And don't be like pulling when you go to cut, you know, we did all that twisting so that it's right where it wants. And I'm not gonna cut my bangs because I don't wanna have these bangs, but I'm just trying to show you, you know, you would cut here, maybe you would cut here, and then maybe you would cut here. And then like I said, you know, here, this would be a pretty strong cut to make. I'd be more apt to go in this line, at least for this piece, and then maybe this line would go this way. So they'd be cut like that. And then this piece for sure, I would cut right here. And that's, you could also, you know, you could cut that here if you wanted to not have quite so much bang. And then, you know, continue on these pieces in here. If you've got those really short bangs, then you get right up in here. And then once they're all twisted, you are just sort of cutting here, you're cutting here, these few right here, maybe you're cutting this way, and then you're cutting this way. That could be pretty short. You might want to start just a little bit longer. With these little bangs up here, you saw how I was rotating back and forth. Tend to like to do that as you're cutting across. And you know, come back and like mess with them a little bit and see how they're setting, and then cut a little bit more, fluff them up, push them off your face, cut some, and then push it off and look at it. And then, you know, cut again. Don't cut too much when it's all in place over here without really paying attention to where that hair is coming from, because you might wind up cutting something back here that maybe, you know, really like this should be one of your longer pieces and this should be one of your shorter pieces. And when you push it back like this, it could be really easy to get one of these that should be longer on top, and then you would cut it. Sorry I don't have bangs, so I hope that that was helpful in some kind of way. And take care out there, guys.